Welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So recently we did see the first XRP ETF officially announced, and it went live yesterday. Now, this was an ETF that will give investors 2 times leveraged exposure to XRP. Now, this is the first of many ETFs that did get approved in the US, of course. That I think is going to set the narrative for all of the other ones to also be approved. I think that this is going to be a huge catalyst, and I do think that it is going to impact XRP in a big way. It's very similar to the Bitcoin ETFs. I know that a lot of people will bring up the idea that the Ethereum ETFs didn't really see that big of an inflow and they weren't that successful. But the difference here is that there is a lot more hype around XRP. Not to mention that from a retail perspective, when we think about, the price of assets, we look at Bitcoin and we're like, all right, well, it's $70,000 per Bitcoin. That's pretty expensive. And even Ethereum, at the time when the ETFs did get approved, it was like $3,000. Now for XRP, it's trading within the $1 to $2 range. And we're looking at it and we're like, all right, well, that's pretty cheap. Let me just buy up some of this ETF because maybe it will go, maybe it'll go and do a 10x or a 20x or a 50x. It's just the idea of something being cheaper that really kind of reels the retail sector in. Now, again, when we think about this, what kind of inflows did this record? Because it did already go live. What we have over here that the XRP 2x XRP ETF saw $5 million in volume on day one. Very respectable, especially considering the market conditions. That puts it at approximately top 5% of new ETF launches and about 4 times what the 2x Solana ETF sold did, although both 200x less than King IBIT. Now, again, at the time that the Bitcoin ETF did get approved, we got to remember that it was the first crypto ETF that got approved in terms of like a spot position for Bitcoin. And, it was from BlackRock. So we have to think about this logically. Obviously, the XRP ETF was not going to surpass it. Same even goes for Solana. But the fact that it did, it did see more inflows than the Solana ETF, it shows you how much demand there is for XRP, especially during the market conditions. I have to agree with Eric here. Market conditions right now around the space are pretty rough. So the fact that we did have over $5 million in volume on day one, that's pretty good. And we'll see how this performs throughout the coming weeks, obviously. But I do think that this is going to continue to be pretty successful. Now, the good news about this ETF is that now all of the other ETF players can see how well this one is doing, and they can make the argument for why they also should have an ETF around XRP as well. I think that this is, like I said, a big accelerant for all the other ETFs to be trading live. So we'll definitely have to watch and see what happens here. But I do think that XRP ETFs are going to be a big game changer, and I think that they're going to be very successful for even XRP as well. But outside of that, we also did see a big update from Ripple. So Ripple is acquiring prime brokerage Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, marking the largest deal ever for the digital asset company and one of the biggest in the history of the cryptocurrency industry. This is massive. Now, I do want to read a few comments from Ripple employees. Number one, we do have from Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple. Today, Ripple announced the acquisition of Hidden Road for $1.25 billion, one of the largest deals ever in the crypto space. But the price tag isn't what's most important. It's that this deal marks a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for crypto to access the largest and most trusted traditional markets and vice versa. Prime brokers, along with other key functions historically managed by banks for the most part like Hidden Road, have proven themselves as the trusted intermediary for the largest hedge funds, market makers, OTC desk, quant traders, and more. Ripple has been a customer of Hidden Road for years, and we know their breadth of expertise firsthand, clearing $3 trillion per year annually for 300 plus of the top financial institutions globally. This is the capital and activity that will tap into the XRP ledger and XRP, bread and butter, instant, efficient, scalable, and low-cost movement of value. Instead of waiting for 24 hours to settle trades through fiat rails, Hidden Road will be using the XRP ledger for clearing a portion of trades. Now, it is a portion of trades initially. I do expect this to actually grow significantly because of the efficiencies behind using the XRP ledger and XRP. And also, they will be using RLUSD as collateral across its prime brokerage services, including cross-asset crypto and traditional instrument trades. With this deal and the backing of Ripple's significant balance sheet, Hidden Road will exponentially expand its capacity to service its pipeline and become the largest non-bank prime broker globally. Ripple and Hidden Road combined are a generational leap forward, ready to truly bring the worlds of traditional and decentralized finance together. Now, just before we even tap into a few other comments and actually get into the official release on this, let's think about how bullish this is. So Ripple acquired Medico, and through Medico, we saw some deals being made with like HSBC, DZ Bank, Deca Bank, and you just saw the institutional side of Ripple grow through that, acquisition. Now, again, Medico had some pretty big players tied to it in terms of like institutional players. But what it didn't have is 300 plus top financial institutions globally. We now just saw Ripple, through this acquisition, grow its customer base around top institutional players out there in the world by 300 plus. Not to mention $3 trillion per year. This is the capital, as we are seeing from Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, an activity that will tap into XRP and the XRP ledger's bread and butter, instant, efficient, scalable, and low-cost movement of value. So if we are thinking about this logically, okay, maybe it's not going to be the entire 3 trillion. But I do think that this is the start of trillions of dollars moving over the XRP ledger. This is a massive announcement. On top of this, we have a few other comments. We have from Ashish Birla. He is a board member of Ripple, previously worked at Ripple as well. Strong liquidity around tokenized assets, stablecoins, real-world assets, etc. is paramount to a strong user experience. I'm excited about this acquisition. Yes, because this is going to significantly increase liquidity. It's going to be a huge step in the right direction for mass adoption of Ripple products and the XRP ledger and XRP for tokenized use cases. We're talking about custody. We're talking about tokenization in general. We're talking about RLUSD use cases as well, expanding. Guys, I'm very excited about this. On top of that, we have from David Schwartz, Ripple CTO. Ripple's acquisition of Hidden Road is a defining moment for the XRP ledger and XRP. The prime broker clears upwards of $10 billion and processes over 50 million transactions a day on various traditional rails. So $10 billion every single day. Waiting up to 24 hours for those transactions to settle. Now imagine even a portion of that activity on the XRP ledger. And that's exactly what Hidden Road plans on doing. Not to mention future use of collateral and real-world assets tokenized on the XRP ledger. Guys, I just want you to understand that even though the market conditions right now around this space absolutely suck, this is showing us that we are in a storm right now. Storms will pass, and what comes after is something very special. The sun is going to be shining. We are going to see clear skies. And I think at that point, people will realize what's going on behind the scenes. This is an acquisition that is targeting $3 trillion, $10 billion per day, 50 million transactions per day. And now a portion of that is going to be hitting the XRP ledger in a big way. I expect this to expand beyond just a portion. But this is a huge acquisition, and this is huge for XRP and the XRPL. Now, last but not least, we also have from Anthony Welfer, again, a previous employee at Ripple. Imagine $3 trillion of assets annually transacting through the XRP ledger. It's about to begin. This is insane. And we have over here the full-on announcement. Ripple will inject billions of dollars of capital to provide immediate scale and satisfy the demand for Hidden Road's prime brokerage, clearing, and financing platform. RLUSD becomes the first stablecoin to enable efficient cross-margining between digital assets and traditional markets, reinforcing its position as a premium enterprise-grade USD-backed stablecoin. Hidden Road to migrate post-trade activity across the XRP ledger, demonstrating its potential as the go-to blockchain for institutional decentralized finance. This is a big deal. And you know what's crazy? It's not just about like the actual transactions here. Look at the markets that they're hitting. So Hidden Road is one of the fastest growing prime brokers around the world, offering institutions a one-stop shop of advanced services, including clearing, prime brokerage, and financing across the FX market, $7.5 trillion per day, digital assets, derivatives, swaps, and fixed income. For the crypto industry to achieve the next phase of growth, it's critical that core infrastructure is in place for institutional adoption. Prime brokers bring the necessary credibility and professional trading services expected in legacy finance to digital assets. Together, Ripple and Hidden Road are bringing the promise of digital assets to institutional customers at scale, bridging traditional finance and decentralized finance. And of course, we do have the talks about clearing $3 trillion per year and the 300 top institutional customers here. Now, we do have a few quotes. Number one, this is from Brad Garlinghouse. We are at an inflection point for the next phase of digital asset adoption. The U.S. market is effectively open for the first time due to the regulatory overhang of the former SEC coming to an end, and the market is maturing to address the needs of traditional finance. With these tailwinds, we are continuing to pursue opportunities to massively transform the space, leveraging our unique position and strengths of XRP to accelerate our business and enhance our current solutions and technology. And we do have this acquisition also reinforces RLUSD position as an enterprise-grade USD-backed stablecoin with real utility, as Hidden Road leverages it as collateral across its prime brokerage products. The thing that I also want to focus on here is, we're seeing RLUSD adoption, which is also tied back to the XRP ledger. I know that not all of it is on the XRP ledger, but the fact that RLUSD is going to be leveraged here in a big way, also promoting the success of the stablecoin itself, also will bleed into the XRP ledger, which means this entire acquisition is so bullish for the entire XRP ledger ecosystem, the entire Ripple ecosystem as well. This is just a huge, huge announcement. I'm very excited about this move. I can't wait to see this at scale as well, and I can't wait to see it hit the XRP ledger. Hidden Road will in turn migrate its post-trade activity across the XRP ledger to streamline operations and lower cost, demonstrating the XRP ledger's potential as the go-to blockchain for institutional decentralized finance. Ripple also sees the potential to optimize cost and liquidity in the cross-border payment solution, Ripple Payments, and provide critical custody services to Hidden Road's customers who need bank-grade digital asset custody. With new resources, licenses, and added risk capital, this deal will unlock significant growth in Hidden Road's business, allowing us to increase capacity to our customer base, expand into new products and services, service more markets and asset classes. Now, this is from Mark Ash, founder and CEO of Hidden Road. Together with Ripple, we're bringing the same level of trust and reliability that institutional clients are accustomed to in traditional markets, designed and optimized for a digital world. Yeah, I think that this is a game changer. It's a huge game changer. And even if we go to Hidden Road's website, we could see the global credit network for institutions. Now, this is their approach in terms of like what they're doing, but these are the services that they actually offer. Number one is FX and precious metals. Again, I've talked about the FX market. The precious metals market is also pretty big. Digital assets, synthetics, OTC swaps, FX, equities, commodities, digital assets, energy, and rates. We also have clearing, derivatives clearing, huge market, quadrillions of dollars. Sponsored access and direct market access, and then financing, derivatives market or margin financing, and then digital asset margin financing as well. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to see what happens here. I think that we are witnessing history around Ripple and the XRP ledger. I think XRP, not only with the ETF launch and how successful the ETF has been so far, I think this combined with everything that we're seeing right now around Ripple, even with ROUSD, even around these acquisitions, I just don't see how you could be bearish on XRP. I think that the long-term view here on how big XRP will be, how big Ripple will be, they're going to be massive. They're going to be massive, and I think that XRP is going to be one of the most successful digital assets in this space. I also think that RLUSD is on a path to becoming one of the biggest, if not the biggest, stablecoins in this space. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.